Thanks everyone for joining. We've got a little bit of a demo here in a little bit. We're going to go over how to customize the appearance and all the customization features of the chat widget on how you can make that look different and customize it to either you or any of your clients' businesses. Just a quick reminder, there's a bunch of free resources I posted down in the chat below. I can go over a couple of them real quickly. A lot of them have been posted in the last couple of meetings. So if you've joined in the last few meetings, you've already seen these. But for everybody new, I just like to make sure that we touch base on these because a lot of these are really useful and important. So the first one is, and there's links for all of these in the chat down below. So you can download these for free. There's a ChatGPT prompt that you can basically paste into ChatGPT that will help you write a custom base system prompt. This will help you customize how an AI agent will act and interact with users. Now, going along with that, OpenAI has actually been updating their own prompt engineering section in their what they like to call their cookbook. And so if you have or want more details or even further technical instructions on how to work prompt engineering for specific AI and AI agents and use cases, this is a really good resource. And a lot of this is mimicked directly in something like this. How should the AI format its response and encourage readability? That comes down to writing clear instructions and giving the AI agent time to execute these things in a order of step-by-step thinking, like this, exactly like this. Prompt, where is it? Yeah. So really good info. I don't want to spend too much time on this. The IG DM animation, a lot of people have actually been downloading this more than I kind of thought. Highly recommend this. You can customize this to be a conversation, simulate a conversation, and then create a GIF or a video. Put this on your website, use it for marketing, whatever. And then finally, we've got the AI sales, whatever this is called, presentation. And you can duplicate this and clone this and change this to be for your business or your agency. So those are just a quick, brief overview of some of the free resources. For everyone who just joined, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat down below and we'll get to it in the QA session. But we're actually going to go into a quick little demo here. Tim's going to share his screen and we're going to get a little showcase here of how to customize the actual appearance of an AI chatbot. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do this, and I'll hand it over to Tim to kick things off here.
Yeah, definitely. And so what we're going to be using for this demo is the notifier chatbot. That is an older product of ours, but we do have a Stammer chat widget on it. And one thing I want you to notice right off the bat is this logo here. This was the reason this looks kind of off center like this is the original logo I used was not properly centered. So obviously make sure that the logo you use is properly centered into this, circular format here. But that is one thing you can absolutely change, right? Let's go into the actual notifier production chatbot. We're going to go to the dashboard.
And that's just like a standard image, right? Like a PNG or a JPEG, something like that.
I don't remember well, let's see, because it actually should show up here in appearance. Yeah, it's a PNG. And what I could do if I wanted to change this, and eventually I should change this, to be honest. But what I'll do is, throw this PNG into Canva or take the original SVG that I had and just kind of move that around a bit so that it looks more properly centered.
Yeah. Let's
back up. Logo is a bit weird.
Back up real quick. So we're customizing the actual embedding of the chat widget on a website. And in order to get to that, you're going to log into your dashboard and then go into any AI chatbot or agent and then click on the appearance tab. And then this will showcase all of the customizing features across how it will actually look to that end user. And in the right-hand side, as you scroll down, there's a live preview of what the chat widget actually looks like to users. So when you make a change, for example, on a color or something like that, then that live preview will also change.
Exactly. And what all do we want to go over here? So you can change the font size, obviously. We can do that here, the font family that you use.
Yeah. I think one of the really cool things that got a lot of people's attention was, and other Tim, you were the one that I think really popularized this, was the background
Mm,
image, adding a background image to the interface. And this is also something that we're going to improve. We've got a ticket open to allow customization on the color of the input field as well. And so this will allow us for even further customization in addition to anything that we're currently showing you guys right now. But could you show us how to add a background image?
yes. And actually, this is the area of the UI I'm least familiar with. Here we go. Widget background. So what you would do, let's see. And actually, I'm not seeing,
Change it to color from image.
I see.
There you go.
And then you're going to go to choose file and then upload an appropriate image. I don't have a background image we can use ready to go. Ross, do you have anything you can send me?
For the sake of this demo, no, but
Just choose anything. The worst that's going to happen is it's going to look kludgy, but
Hold on, let me just send myself something really quickly, just so we can show some. Let's see here.
here I just sent you the image of Apple Intelligence, which is a
Oh,
whole
perfect,
whole
perfect.
nother fun topic to touch
What did
on
you send
later.
that in? Admin? Oh, I got it. Okay, I've downloaded that. Let me go
I
back.
found the best size to be 600 pixels wide by 800 pixels tall.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's something that we can add in as help info text.
Exactly. And as you can see, it updated in real time. So obviously this doesn't look, but it does illustrate the point. And I know Tim Bennett, you have one that looks really good for the body. Let's see. And as you can see, here is the new background image here.
Now, yeah, so now we'll change that back. Let's just change it to a standard color.
Yeah. Let's remove it, save this, color, save, or we could click reset to default in this case. But there it is. Now it's gone. What else do we want to cover here? I know one thing that a lot of people change actually is, the chat input placeholder, which is kind of the text that actually shows up right below when you're about to enter text. See, this says ask me anything. You can change that to whatever you want to make it. You can also change the send message button, right? We have this kind of arrow icon here, and you can change that to whatever you want. We've covered kind of the chatbot icon. I believe this one is actually the one that shows up here, right here in this area.
Yeah, so basically the best piece of advice we could probably give everyone watching this is just start playing around with how it looks to you and what you might look, and if you already have your brand colors, it's very easy to go in and just select those as the different colors and match whatever branding that your client might already have, basically. We try to make this as simple and straightforward as possible. So if there's any other items that you guys like to see, please let us know. And like I said, we're adding one for updating the color of the input field. So that's going to be
Exactly.
one of the main things we add next for customization.
And I guess a couple quick things to cover in this area is one that you may not see, or you may see it grayed out, is this enable typing simulation. That is not necessary whenever streaming is enabled. And streaming means that you're streaming the responses from the LLM directly to the user's browser as they get generated by the LLM itself. So you may see this grayed out and not need to worry about it if you're using streaming. But if not, this will enable a kind of typing simulation. So you may need to speed it up if you're not using streaming. The other thing that a lot of people like to set up, and it is less important when streaming is enabled because the responses are now so fast. But 6 months ago, we had these AI agent status messages that were there in order to show the user essentially that something is going on while you're waiting for a response for the model. So that is another thing to keep in mind here.
And to be fair, I actually really like keeping these on bots that I'm helping build.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the super fast responses from GPT-4o, which I highly recommend everyone use if you haven't already. It's extremely fast response, but it also still shows the status messages. So it makes the user experience feel more engaging. So as a user, when I'm chatting with one of these, I feel like it's actually doing something more, even though it may not.
That's a good point because it can take a few even though it's a second or two, it shows for just a moment and it can help.
Cool. Does anybody have any questions on customization or anything related to the appearance of the chatbots?
No, this is working quite well. I mean, it's quite easy to understand.
Well, let us know if you need anything else added to this, if there's anything we haven't considered that needs to be customized.
I just want to see what the icon looks like. That's been my big thing, is getting something that's inviting when people hit the site. So I'll play around with it and let you know.
Yeah, sounds good.
Having that red notification dot, I mean it makes sense for notifier, but for me, I'm a inbox 0 guy. So anytime I see a little red notification thing, I'm like, I have to clear it.
Click
I have
it.
to I
Yeah.
have to click it and clear it.
Another piece of feedback we've gotten recently that I'd like everybody's opinion on is, you see this close, I actually don't know the word for this, but this close icon here. Some people have told us that they would like the ability to customize that. And so I am going to be opening a ticket for that so that you can customize this icon. And what's happened is some people don't realize that this is how you close it. So the thought is, if we had like an X available as well, that would be good.
A question, good afternoon. I would like to know more about integration with WhatsApp. Is it native? It will be native. We are going back and forth with Meta devs basically every single day right now, with them reviewing the app and denying it for whatever reason, and largely due to the fact that we're creating not a Stammer app. We have to create a white labeled version of Stammer, which doesn't mention Stammer anywhere, which is kind of against Meta's policies, which is why it's taking so extremely longer than we've expected. So to answer your question, the integration with WhatsApp will be native. Yes, there will be basically a click button where you can select your WhatsApp business account, and then it will be piped directly behind that number. And to start, it will be just a native integration with not too much control. The initial control that we're going to offer is going to be the first version of human handoff, which will allow a user to say a message or send a phrase, which will stop the AI from responding. It'll notify anybody, any user, any admin on your account, and say, hey, someone needs to be talked to in your WhatsApp business. So it'll integrate with the phones that they already have that WhatsApp business phone are on. So they can get that notification via SMS, email, webhook, whatever it may be, and then on their phone, go to that WhatsApp conversation and take over from there. And that will be the same for Facebook and Instagram in addition to WhatsApp. And Drew is correct. You can currently integrate WhatsApp via third parties like GHL or Zapier. So that's definitely possible. And API integration, how it will work with AI training is the data in the response too confusing. So we will be adding a API endpoint that will allow you to add data to your knowledge base. I think that might be the answer.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what is meant by, is the data in the response too confusing? But it just works by sending a response. Basically, you hit up our API with a query, and then it sends a response.
It will be about the same. So the same way that you would add data natively within the app, that data is all going to be sent and stored, and that's in the same place. So it would be the equivalent amount of errors, if any, that you would experience. Lauren asks, a major use case we are building for is a website search and QA assistance for our clients. Using other platforms, I've had to upload a PDF document with all of the sitemap URLs I want my agent to link website visitors to, and upload this in addition to the website pages that have been crawled in the knowledge base. Without doing this, the model would hallucinate links within the sitemap that don't exist. Has your team found a streamlined way to prompt this, or ensure that the LLM knows that the website pages in its knowledge base and is able to link the website visitors out to a great question. Our website scraper that we've used so far, we built from the ground up. So a lot of other places have used other APIs or integrations to leverage that existing scraping technology, which for us didn't yield really good results. So we actually built our own scraper from the ground up. Tim can comment a little bit more on how that process actually technically works, but from our experience in testing, we haven't experienced the hallucination of links like you're mentioning.
Yeah, so in the result, it gets from what we call our knowledge base, right? Which is ultimately where your website pages get stored, the data from them. We include for the agent the link in the response that we send to the agent. So that link is clearly available there. And you would just need to instruct in your prompt, never hallucinate any links. Just use the link provided to you in the knowledge base function, essentially.
And then another feature that we've also added to ensure the accuracy of this is there's an option called include answer sources. So when you have a lot of website links, the platform will actually return the actual links that it's finding the relevant answers from. So if I was to ask a question like, how does Notifier work, or whatever it may be, it will return the responses and then include links to where it found those answers. And those will be links that are actually in the knowledge base that have been scraped. And that's enable, disable, like Tim is showing right there.
Right.
Good to know. I will need to test further with using Stammer and try some different prompt options. And yeah, perfect. Let us know if you have any problems or anything with that. Happy to help. No, our team has a website with information blocked for tracking, and they want to add new data via API every day, and that worries me about how much this will harm the understanding of AI. As long as the information that's being uploaded is within the context or it's relevant to the conversations that the AI is having with users, it should only improve the conversation over time. This is one of the things that we found with our website scraper that we now have the 24-hour scraper option. So this allows for it to automatically pipe in new data 24/7 based off of the data that it's scraping from the website automatically. And for us in our testing for that, it drastically improves the responses because it's new information that is being added to our knowledge base is automatically being added to the bot. So when we create a new documentation for a new feature, all we have to do is add it into our knowledge base, our documentation, and it automatically will get added to the knowledge base of our AI bots because the scraper is scraping 24/7.
Yeah, and I also want to say, Ross, that I think it's a great idea for someone to add data to the bot through our API, which we need to finish that endpoint to get data added, and we can do that quickly. But I think it's a better approach in many ways than scraping, because scraping can be a little unreliable at times. We use heuristics to, for instance, get only the relevant data on the page. That's one approach we use, but it's still not as easy as just sending only the data you need and exactly what you want to our API. So I think that's a great approach.
And as we're seeing, other websites are now adding code to their sites that block certain things like large server farms or just crawlers or scrapers in general.
Exactly.
Or sites that are built with JavaScript that don't have any text actually on the site for us to pull down. There's a lot of weird edge cases that we've come across with the website scraper. That being said, that's why we built it from the ground up, is so it would work in as many use cases as possible. Because not a lot of the other ones were doing us any good. Great questions though. Cool. Any last questions or anything anybody wants to bring up?
Also, I had my exhibition expo last week.
Yes. How'd it go?
So we had a ton of people come and talk to us about AI and how it could be used in their business. One of the big questions, which sort of relates to the scraping issue, is it wasn't just about using AI on the front end websites. It was also about how they could use the AI in their business intranet or for document retrieval within their business, so that it would cut down the time it would take like a new starter to find that information.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give a heads up on that. It's that, just selling the bots for front end website data capture, lead gen isn't the only opportunity out there. And I think one of the observations we had as effectively as a startup idea and a concept was that we were a small fish in a very big customer service pond.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're out there trying to sort of compete with these big guys who are out there, maybe the approach of finding a smaller niche to go after. I know you've talked about this before, but maybe utilizing that smaller niche and the idea of doing a specialist service with AI would be a good option for you as well.
Definitely. You're going to love some of the updates that we've got coming down the pipeline here that we've been a little close to the chest on, but it's going to be very cool. A lot of the stuff that will mimic this kind of other side of the market, which is the internal side. Not necessarily the customer facing side. So lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, we've been really hard at work. We're doing like the most intense development we've done since the original launch.
Since,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Lauren says, I have a question. I sent to support tickets earlier. I started a free trial and a personal. Now I cannot add.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Email us or
yeah,
no,
send it, Lauren, if you could just send privately your email to either myself or Tim in the chat real
yeah.
quick, and then we'll get that handled for you.
Yeah, I can do that now actually. Once you send it.
Perfect. Cool. And then yeah, Apple, everyone's getting AI soon. So I think this is going to be one of the biggest like pluses for everybody in this entire space. I was telling some colleagues earlier today, our company saw a big push when, what was it, when Turbo came out or something. It was like whenever that last push, we saw a rush of customers. I think we're going to see the same thing. Millions of people are going to have their first aha moment with AI when it gets delivered to them on their iPhone. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I wish my power washing business had AI, or I wish I had AI in my internal company Slack, whatever it may be. So it's coming, people. So, alrighty. I think that will do it for today. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.